Hello, everybody. It's Jackie Williamson here. I'm talking today about how to find time for you. And the reason I want to talk about it is that it is so common amongst people who perhaps know that they need to include more self-care in their routine, or they perhaps want to, but they just don't know how they are going to find time for it, because it's usually when you are knowing that you really need self-care, when you are super busy, you're overwhelmed, you're probably exhausted already with all the things you've got to do, and self-care just feels like one more thing to add to your list of things that you have to do, and you can't see a way to include it. But it is, believe me, it can be done, and I talk with my clients all the time about how it can be done. Excuse me. It's also a common question I get when I'm networking and talking to people about self-care. One of the first things they say is, well, how am I going to find time for it? So that's why I wanted to talk to you about it today. The first thing to do is to decide that you are going to make time, because everything flows from there. If you are in the mindset of, I haven't got time, I can't find time, I can't make time, then that's what's going to become true for you. But if you decide that you are going to find time, you can find time, then you will, because it'll be a priority for you, just the same as anything else. Any of the other tasks that you have on your list, you make time for them because you feel you have to. Well, with this, it's making time for yourself because you want to and because you need to. And the kind of the win-win situation about that is that if you do make the time for yourself, it boosts your energy, it makes you feel so much better and brighter, which then leads to you having more energy and more time to do all the other things you want to do anyway. So it is a win-win. But getting back to how you can find time, after you've made the decision to make time for some self-care, and it should be a daily thing, I should say, then you can start looking at where in your day you can find that time. Now, sometimes it's a question of making time. Sometimes it's just a question of using time that you've already got that actually you're wasting. So if we talk first about making time, a couple of easy ones. The first one is just set your alarm to come on a bit earlier in the morning to make time for whatever it is that you want to do. You know, a classic one is setting it 15 minutes earlier to give you some time to do a short meditation, or maybe half an hour earlier to give yourself time to do a bit of yoga, a bit of Pilates in the morning. That's just if that works for you. It might not be for everybody, because you might need all the sleep you are getting at the moment. You might not want to get up any earlier. Another time that you can make time in your day is lunchtime, because it is so common when you are really busy just to plow on through, maybe grab a quick sandwich or a bit of toast at your desk while you're carrying on working. Whereas actually, if you make the decision that you're going to stop and take some time for you, that makes a world of difference. And it's time that almost your day expands to accommodate it. Because like I said at the beginning, if you are doing something for yourself that lights you up, you will feel better afterwards, which means that you might have lost that half an hour when you were otherwise doing work things while you're eating your sandwich. But what's actually happening is that you have taken time out, half an hour or an hour, even if you can, that's great, to do whatever it is that you want to do. And, you know, you choose, because it is your self-care. But then you will come back to working feeling so much brighter, so much more energized, that you will find that you will get through the work faster, and you won't get that, or you're less likely anyway to get the slump that you would otherwise get if you have just plowed on through working at your desk. And if you don't believe me, just try it. You know, one of my clients was a classic for this, as I used to be, I'll admit. You know, in the days when I was a lawyer, I just used to try ploughing on through, because I thought, well, I could just get something else done. But then I'd be really, really exhausted in the middle of the afternoon and be really struggling for energy. When I changed things up and started making a point of going for a walk at lunchtime, whatever the weather, got me out of the office, gave me some fresh air, made me feel better, and then I was better able to get on with my tasks in the afternoon. And I was going to tell you about a client who loved to draw, and she decided that she was going to get back to doing that, and stop her work in the middle of the day to find time to do some drawing. And she did that, and it absolutely lit her up. And she found, like I said, that she had so much more energy afterwards to get on with everything else. So it does work. So that is, those were rather two ways of making time for yourself. Then I also talked about using existing time, which is often wasted. And by that, I mean the time when you may be just sitting, scrolling on your phone, you go down some kind of a wormhole on Instagram or YouTube, whatever it is, when actually you could be doing something more productive in terms of being good for you. I don't mean productive in terms of work, I mean working on you and your self-care. So pick whatever thing it is that you want to do that really lights you up. There are things that take a long time, there are things that take a short time. It could be that you just love to sit reading a magazine, say. Do that instead of scrolling through your phone. It could be that you do want to do a bit of yoga. Again, you could do that instead of scrolling through your phone. There are 101 things you can do. If I just talk about the things that I do, they won't be the same for you, but I could reel them off quickly. So like yesterday, I had 101 jobs that I needed to do, but the sun suddenly came out unexpectedly in this very wet week. And I was really conscious that I'd been trying to get some gardening done. So I thought, I've just got half an hour when I can whiz out, put in the plants that I wanted to put into the ground, and it was done. And I felt better because gardening is something that lights me up. Now, it might be your worst nightmare, so don't do that if it's not your thing. But the point is, I did that for half an hour. I then felt so much better because I'd done the thing that I love. I'd been outside, which again, I love. So I was able to come back indoors and get on with all the jobs that I needed to do. So that is a way in which you can use wasted time, which was scrolling through your phone. Another classic wasted time is sitting in front of the TV and channel hopping, desperately trying to find something that you're interested in enough to watch it. Instead of spending that time, just think, well, actually, there's nothing really that I do want to watch here. So forget it. Go off and do something else that lights you up, whatever that may be, whether it's drawing, painting, singing, meditating, doing some exercise, whatever the heck it is that you like to do. Just go and do that instead of doing something mindlessly. And another time, I've talked about this before actually, is when you get those moments where you are maybe stuck in a traffic jam, stuck at lights, you're maybe standing in a queue to pay for something if you're in an actual shop, a bricks and mortar shop. And you've got maybe not a lot of time, but you're standing there feeling frustrated because it feels like wasted time. But you could choose in that moment to do a bit of mindfulness, which will help to calm you down. And that is a kind of self-care. So you could, just really be in the moment, look around you, see what you can see, hear what you can hear, feel what you can feel, and treat it as a moment of mindfulness rather than a frustrating moment of being stuck in a queue. And that changes your perception, and you have given yourself a bit of self-care. So those are just a few ways in which you can use otherwise wasted time. If you look at your day, you will probably have lots more if you think about it. Instead of thinking, I've got all of these jobs that I just can't cram any more in. When you start unpicking your day, you can find wasted time. And maybe the way for you to do it is to actually write down for a day, track what you've been doing. And I mean all of those lost minutes, because they add up. If you look at it, you could find that there are quite a few parts of the day where you can add in some time for you and some true self-care. So give it a try. Let me know how you get on, and I hope you find that it works for you, because it certainly works for me. So thanks as always for watching, and I will be back here again with you next week. So bye for now.